guys. Good morning from Japan, and it's already noontime right now in the location of our 39th guest of Miss International Live. We have 3 hour difference, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry for my voice. I just came back from Ecuador, so here is our guest. So I will not waste some more time because our guest is very special. She's got a lot of things to share to us. She's got a lot of wonderful contributions to her society, to her community, and she's the reigning Miss International New Zealand 2022, or her official title is actually Miss New Zealand 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely Lydia Smit. Hello, Lydia.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to finally find a time to see you. I'm very excited.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for joining us. Finally, we were able to find time to do this live.
I know. When you message me, I'm like, yes, lock it in. We have to do it right now.
Well, actually, the reason why we were not able to do a live with Lydia before, because she's so busy doing her advocacy, her charity work. She's been involved with a lot of things. Like being a beauty queen is it's a title, but it also involves a lot of responsibilities, a lot of involvements, a lot of activities wherein she could actually help her community. But before we go there, let's get to know a little bit better, a little bit more about Lydia, because Lydia, actually, she is, you are actually a business graduate yourself, right?
Yes, I am. I graduated from university about 4 years ago with a Bachelor of Management with honours in Strategic Management and HR. And then I did an international business specialisation on the side. So yeah, it's great. And I'm actually studying a little something more at the moment as well. On top of it all, I'm doing 2 different qualifications for project management. So just building on my skills and seeing if I can head in a different direction. So I'm really excited for that too.
So actually, it really amazes me because you're already our 39th guest here on MI Live, and I've been interviewing and discussing things with different beauty queens. What really amazes me is the fact that aside from the fact that you are a beauty queen and you have a title yourself, you were able to manage to do a lot of things. Juggling different jobs and at the same time studying. So a lot of people have this wrong notion about beauty queens just being beautiful, and you're just just love to be beautiful and you just love to do makeup and stuff like that. But sometimes they don't know that it's just actually just a part of who you are. It's just like not even the major part of who you are. You can do a lot of things. In your case, like I want to know first and foremost, what brought you into the in choosing the field of business management?
It's something I've always known I was going to do. I've never known sort of what industry I wanted to be in or what type of values in a company that I wanted to be a part of. But I never had an industry in mind. But I always knew that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to make real change. The job of 8 to 5 just never interested me. I was like, I want to do my work. I want to do it really well. I want to make a difference and see the change I'm making and be a part of something important and innovative and future thinking.
Well, do you think that the young generation of New Zealanders, is it right to say New Zealanders?
Yeah, that or Kiwis.
Or the Kiwis, the young generation of Kiwis do you think you are a bit more entrepreneurial? Because the 2013 Miss New Zealand, who is a friend of mine, Casey Radley herself, she's also very entrepreneurial and she's really a go-getter. And I really admire such young, young women like you, like being so innovative and being so on the go when it comes to business opportunities.
Yeah, well, I think we have a saying in New Zealand, Kiwi ingenuity. And it's just, it means that, you get your hands dirty, you get into everything, you learn different things, you try your best, like you're for the team and for a community. And it's Kiwi ingenuity. Like it's that kind of push behind you to really try and make a difference. And so I think Kiwis are really innovative and entrepreneurial. And because we're obviously like way down away from pretty much every other country other than Australia. So we do see what other bigger countries do and we try and do it better and try and make our island just as great as we can, so separated from the rest of the world.
Oh, just to be clear, which part of New Zealand are you originally from, or where do you currently live?
Yes, I live in the North Island and I'm from the North Island. So
Mm.
I'm a Waikato girl, which is the region I live in, and I've
Mm.
always lived here. I did my university exchange over in the Netherlands for 7 months. So
Oh,
I've
okay.
lived over there a few years ago, and that's where I did my international business qualification. But yeah, came back and lived in New Zealand in the North Island. I currently live in Hamilton, which is one of our major cities, but in terms of other major cities around the world, it's very small.
Oh, by the way, before we proceed further, there is a comment here that I would like to share.
Oh, lovely.
It's from Dear Megan. Casey, a
Ah.
long friend of mine today will see a lot of similarities between her and Lydia. Wow. Well, who knows? You might achieve higher than Casey. By the way, Casey was our second runner-up in 2013 at Miss International, and Megan here is saying that she's seen a lot of similarities between her and Lydia. Maybe a
I love that.
similar result, or probably higher. We'll never know.
We'll soon find out, but yeah, just along for the ride. And yeah, I love Megan. She's a ray of sunshine. So
Thank,
yeah, thank you
thank
for
you,
your
Megan,
comment.
for your for your comment. Now, by the way, Lydia here is actually turning 25 next week. Happy
Woo!
birthday!
Thank you, thank you.
So Megan, Megan, sorry, Lydia, because Megan's Megan's
All the
comment.
blondes.
Let's hide that one. Okay, so Lydia is turning 25 next week. So how do you see yourself in the next 5 years, Lydia? Like, how do you envision yourself?
I see myself starting my own business, and
Mhm.
that's part of the reason why I'm doing my project management qualifications, is because I do see myself going into that field and going into businesses themselves and
Mhm.
doing projects mainly around sustainability and making their business more sustainable, building their sustainability faction of their business, and then moving on and setting all the processes for them to continue with and to follow on to support that, and then move to the next business and do the same thing and just really build up and make a difference and have my own team, yeah, and go between different businesses and really improve their processes in general. But yeah, the sustainability aspect is what I'm really interested in.
So a lot of talks about sustainability, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and I believe that New Zealand, being geographically special, I think there are certain you have different approaches, and at the same time you have different priorities in from where you're from compared with some other countries. Like, where do you think? New Zealand is currently really putting a lot of more focus when it comes to the 17 SDGs.
Yeah, well, I think we're putting a lot of focus on the sustainable cities and communities, and that's one of my SDG focuses. It's my whole job that I work for is to uh, improve transport and get cars off the road and get people using more public transport,
Mm.
using our service, which is car share. So, it's getting away from that ownership model where every single person has their own vehicle, but instead just using a vehicle when you need it. So we have a magnitude reduction where one of our cars does the work of 10 private vehicles. So
Mm.
if you picture a city, and you only need 10% of the cars to do the same work, then you have all of this room for parks and cafes and playgrounds and schools and all that sort of stuff instead. So yeah, that's a huge focus of myself, and I think New Zealand in general, we've got a lot of transport goals and emission reduction goals to hit by
Mm.
2030 as well. I think we're doing really great in New Zealand. We've got 85% renewable energy
That's
currently, which is awesome. I mean, I've only learned that recently and I was mind blown, like that's fantastic. But it comes from, our natural waterfalls and so hydro and solar and all the rest. So yeah, I'm proud to be part of all of that and have my values obviously align with hopefully where our country is heading as well. Yeah.
Well, 3 years ago, I was in Auckland for a business trip, and I was actually reminded that there's not that much traffic, but during rush hour, the traffic going outside the city, or there's certain time of the day we're in, like going to the city could be very troublesome because everyone goes at the same time, and then it's really traffic. It's not just a problem in Auckland, actually; it's probably problem in every big cities around the world, and we have that serious problem when it comes to transportation, and maybe Auckland or New Zealand is not that bad as it is in many Asian countries. Because here in Japan as well, we have a huge problem when it comes to traffic and transportation during rush hours. We are using train, and it's also very crowded.
Yeah, yeah. Well, different major cities in New Zealand are looking at bringing back trams and all that type of thing to help with that intercity travel. But yeah, it is, traffic can get pretty wild sometimes. I mean, not probably to the scope of maybe big US cities and things like that, but to us Kiwis who are used to just traveling intercity and big open roads, then suddenly as soon as there's traffic, we're quite startled by it. So we're trying to get it down as much as we can, and yeah, share cars and not just one person, one car. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And now, let's go now to your pageant history, because I am very curious regarding your reason for joining beauty pageants. What led you into joining the Miss New Zealand?
Oh, quite a few reasons. I've
Mhm.
done a couple of pageants over my time, and
Uh-huh.
I have I have absolutely enjoyed all of them. I've met the most amazing people, both contestants and organisers and photographers, and organisations we work with, and the charities and the people who run them, and how they run those charities, and the difference they make. So it's always been extreme educational purposes for myself, to build my own skills, like interview skills, public speaking. Like as a personal development, pageants are fantastic, and I think they get a horrible rap for just being about a pretty face or your body or having abs or whatever it is, and it's just not like that anymore. And we still get such a negative rap, and we just don't deserve it. I
Mm.
think that people need to follow a pageant and watch one, or talk to contestants more, or have it more televised or something, because we really need to change the way people see them. But yeah, so it's educational purposes, and I have a huge focus on mental health. I've had my own mental health journey, and I've had dear friends that have had severe or ongoing mental health. So I just think it's wild that there are so many people, especially in New Zealand. Like the youth in New Zealand has the highest suicide rate in the world for a developed country. Like it's just off the charts, and it breaks my heart that there are so many people that feel alone, but they're so not alone. So it's just something that I'm really trying to push for, and trying to work with different organisations. I'm currently looking now at different mental health organisations to partner with over the next few months. Well, over, let's be honest, my lifetime,
Mhm.
but particularly soon. And really try and make a difference and spread my story and be an ally, and talked about what an ally is to mental health. And by ally, I mean the people that support your friends with mental health, or your grandmother with mental health, or your auntie, or someone that comes to you and can say something pretty vivid. And it's about educating people how to take on that information and how to be an ally and support people that might be feeling down. Yeah, that's my passion, really. I feel so strongly that there's
Yeah.
too many people that feel alone, which is ironic, because if they all got in a room, that room would be very full.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's really well. I'm glad as well that the mental health issues have become even more open these days, and the people are less ashamed to talk about it, and they are becoming it's painful to see when we don't even see the signs of people struggling from such very serious health problem. But 2016, our winner from the Philippines, her name is Kylie Verzosa, is a mental health advocate, and she struggled from uh, severe depression as well at a certain point in her life, and she's been very vocal about it, and she's always saying that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay
Yeah,
to tell people that you are having this. The stigma should really be gone by now. Like slowly, I think
yeah,
people are becoming more and more accepting towards uh, like just
yeah.
like health problems. Like mental health should not be something that we hide if we
No,
are struggling from it.
It shouldn't. And that's why from my side I'm trying to make more people comfortable with supporting people and with accepting what people have to say, and not being so afraid of maybe someone's mental state, and really just being a supportive rock for someone, but also looking after yourself, because mental health can be a pretty big cycle. Like if something happens to someone and they do it to someone else, or
Mhm.
this happens to something, so someone, you know, hurts themselves, and then that has flow-on effects to their family, and it's just this massive web. And I'm trying to find little links where people can help and try and break some of those chains, so it just doesn't flow on and flow on and flow on.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think beauty pageants, just like sporting events, just like your our sport idols, so to speak, or
Yeah.
you are also like a role model for a lot of young people, or even not so young people, because oh, let's admit it, it's also a form of entertainment, but at the same time, it's a positive entertainment. You see
Yeah.
people's transformation, like physical transformation, and also there's this emotional and mental transformation along the way. So now, I know that probably you've been asked about this so many times, and I'm sure that you have dealt with this kind of question when you are being asked by friends, or probably by some fans. What would you tell those people who still have, or would you encourage? I'll rephrase it. Would you encourage a young girl to join a beauty pageant despite all this negative connotation about pageantry itself?
I absolutely would. Back, I did another pageant a few years ago, and there was one girl in particular had joined or tried out. It wasn't all finals and announced yet, but we were doing the tryouts. And everyone's walking and talking and kind of just meeting each other, and she literally was the shyest person I've ever met in my life. She was a little whisper, but she was cute and so sweet and lovely, and she just came along to meet people and try and gain a little bit of confidence. And I hung out with her the whole day, because I was like, no, we're gonna get you walking, we're gonna do everything, like we're gonna find your voice. And we ended up doing like a full exercise in the corner. I was like, you have to scream your name. Like you have to scream your name, and that is your like one thing for today. And she ended up doing it at the end of the day, and you could just see like how happy she was by the end of that day with just meeting all the other girls and just taking a step out of her comfort zone. It's not about winning, it's not about any of that. It's just about doing your best and seeing what you personally can do or get from, or help other people like along the journey, whether you come first or second, or well, not that there's dead last, but if you don't place, that's totally fine. So I would encourage any young girl to do it, and not encourage them to be like, yeah, do a pageant, you have to win, this is what you have to do. It's not about that. It's like, go do it. Like talk
Mm.
on a stage for the first time in your life, have an interview for the first time in your life, meet some girls that you would have never been in a room other than being in this competition. Like just expand yourself. And I'm all about that. Like I love a challenge, I'm always in for something new. So yeah, absolutely, enter four, like keep doing.
Well, actually, that's very true, because that also reminds me a lot about our winners, and those who did very well in our beauty pageant. Because when they come to Japan, for example, for Miss International, so many come. You would know it actually if the person, or if the girl, if you are, oh, by the way, like, if you are watching here, and if you're a delegate in Miss International, you should listen to this one. Well, this is also a tip, or somehow, because a lot of girls, they come and they are so competitive, and then they have totally forgotten the very essence of why they came to Miss International, because the Miss International is more about cultural understanding, and you really try to understand and know more about the cultures of the other delegates. As much as possible, I don't even want to use the term contestants, because we don't want you guys to compete against each other. We call you delegates, because you represent your country, represent your culture, and you get to know more about them. And the ones who are just enjoying the whole experience, and the ones who are really having a good time, it shows, it radiates from the stage once we do the final gala. And that's the only time when the judges are actually like voting for who they think is the most elegant and the best on stage, because that girl who has been enjoying the whole experience and have been like really having a great time, it comes out naturally. It comes from the inside out, and that's literally saying coming from the inside out, because you
Yeah.
will just glow on stage if you didn't tire yourself of being too competitive, like thinking about competition, thinking about winning. I should win. That reflects a lot about our top five last year, especially our winner from Thailand, Siritornlia Ramwat. She was just enjoying the whole experience. And even it speaks about Casey as well, when she joined 9 years ago. Like, she was just really having a really, really having a good time, and eventually winning second runner up. So that's it. Like, just a tip, for you
Yeah,
and
I can't. Yeah,
girls.
and I can't wait. I can't wait to meet the other girls. Like, I already talked to quite a few of them anyway, and you ask them questions like, "Oh, have you got this?" or like, "Oh, what shoes are you doing with this?" And it's like, "Oh, who are you working? Who are you working with? What are you doing? How was that speech? How was that speech you did the other day? How did
Uh-huh.
that go?" And it's just like this open communication, and I've got chats, and we all do calls, and it's just, I already know I've met best friends, and
Mhm.
I just literally can't wait to get my hands on them and just give them a big hug, because it's just, you can tell they're such beautiful people that come from completely different walks of life,
Mhm.
and I just can't wait to learn more about them, see them in person, learn more about their culture and where they come from and why they are the person they are.
Yes, and then you will go back to your country after the Miss International. You will go back to your country, having 70 more friends or sisters, and then you learn a lot, and it's a growing experience as well, and that makes you a real winner. Like gaining that experience, that confidence, and better understanding of the world that we live in, so that we can, at least in our own little way, we can make this world a better place and more sustainable place to live in.
Yeah, 100%. And you can't understand, like, you can't have proper respect for the earth and for the people that live in it if you've never experienced other places, and you've never talked to other people, and,
Mhm.
and you've never left your little comfort bubble. Like, you need to do those things. I think that's why I love travel so much and meeting new
Mhm.
people, is just because I want to know what I can learn from them and how I can integrate that into my life, or improve the country where I'm from, or the
Mhm.
friend that is going through something similar, I can relate. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, just to remind everyone, guys, being in a beauty pageant, for example, like this Miss International, this is actually one opportunity to be able to meet so many different kinds of people from different culture in just one setting. Imagine being there and making friends with all of them. It's quite different from joining in sports activity, because in sports, it's really about winning. It's very
Yeah.
competitive, and then sometimes you don't even have that much time to mingle and to talk and to chat with your fellow competitors. But in beauty pageants, you spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks being with the same group of people, and then the final gala may be the one that is most memorable. But actually, before those, the whole process actually makes the delegate, a better and wiser person along the way. So thank you so much. We have so many comments in here. We have here from Hannah Arnold, Miss Philippines.
Ah,
Shout
Hannah.
Lydia here,
Hi,
like,
Didi.
and we have another one from Brazil, Bron. Uh, we have one from North Carolina, Raylene. We have Clarissa, who is from sunny San Diego, California. And also we have one from Colorado. Thank you so much, guys, for your
Oh,
comments.
yes, the
Thank you.
US is tuning in. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I hope that some of the delegates were actually watching, because I did give a very important tip a while ago.
Yes, yes.
If they had missed it, then they can just come back here. Like, if you're lucky enough to check this interview with Lydia, then probably you have gained one thing or two about how to enjoy the whole Miss International experience. Lydia, Thank you very much. Finally, we're able to do this interview, and I really appreciate your time. And thank you so much. I've been following you and also the Miss New Zealand um, Instagram page, and I've been checking what you guys have been doing, and I really admire those organizations who work so hard for the betterment of our community, even in our own small way. Like, so guys, please follow Lydia on her social media handles. Also follow us on our official Twitter account, our official Facebook account. Follow, subscribe on our YouTube channel. And
Like,
yes,
subscribe.
it's well, it's gonna be like 4 months from now, and we will be having our Miss International Beauty Pageant, and it's really getting exciting. It's slowly starting to sink in. This
Yeah, it
whole
doesn't feel real yet. I'm not gonna
before
lie.
it's like, okay, it's just gonna be like more than 8 months to go, but now like, oh, it's we're almost there. And yes, I know that you guys, the Miss International delegates, you have probably your own WhatsApp group or your own Instagram group, and
Yes,
you've been
we
chatting.
do.
Like, by the time you're gonna meet each other, it's just like, hey, sister. It's really a better world that we have right now because the communication is much faster and easier. So thank you, Lydia. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone for your comments and for your questions. And please check our next episode of Miss International Live, because we're going to have our 40th episode. Wow, 40 now. And this is our 39th guest, Miss Lydia Smit, Miss New Zealand 2022, or Miss International New Zealand 2022. Goodbye,
Thank you
guys.
so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to chat again. Right.
Yes, thank you for watching. Goodbye.